It was a quiet evening, the kind that hung too still in the air, as if the world were holding its breath. I was seated at the kitchen table, slicing through a cold apple with a paring knife. Each cut precise, smooth, controlled. The house around me hummed with a silence that wasn't peace. It was restraint, measured, tight, deliberate. She stood across from me, fists trembling at her sides, eyes glassy with rage and defiance. "I'm going to see my AP every night," she shouted, her voice cracking at the edges. "I'm tired of hiding, and I don't care what you think." I let the knife rest gently against the wooden board. I looked up and smiled. The confession wasn't necessary. I'd known. I always knew. But watching her unravel, publicly, impulsively, was part of the ritual. She needed the performance. The illusion that she still had power in this dynamic. That her decision meant something. She wanted a fight, a reaction, maybe even tears. But all I gave her was a look so calm it drained the color from her face. "I understand," I said softly. "You should do what makes you happy." She blinked. Just once, confused. Then I stood slowly and walked to the sink to wash the blade. It had begun months ago. A shift in routine. Her laughter stopped reaching her eyes. Her phone never left her hand. At first, I let it be. But detachment is not the same as ignorance. I installed a keylogger on her laptop and cloned her phone. I studied her digital reflection, traced the emotional residue left behind in texts and emails. His name was Ryan. Married, mid-level manager, boring. She called him her AP, affair partner. The term made me smirk. So clinical, so impersonal, as if betrayal needed acronyms to dull the sting. I knew where they met, what they drank, what she wore. I knew his wife's name, their mortgage balance, and the company's HR policies on workplace relationships. Every detail was catalogued. Not because I was emotional, but because precision requires preparation. People like them don't just destroy trust, they underestimate the quiet ones. So I made moves. Silent ones. First, I leaked anonymous tips to his company's ethics committee, screenshots, time-stamped logs, and a discreet USB drive left on a department head's desk. Then I sent a handwritten letter to his wife. No return address, just truth and a photo of their hotel receipt. Next, I scheduled a financial audit of our shared accounts. I froze the joint cards and opened a new trust under my name alone. She didn't notice. She was too busy texting him under the table while pretending to watch Netflix with me. I changed the locks on the cabin. She didn't know I still owned the one in my name, the one with no cameras, no questions, and no interruptions. The first domino fell on a Tuesday. He was called into HR, suspension pending investigation. Then came the whispers, the gossip, the forced resignation. By Thursday, his wife had filed for divorce. She emptied the joint account, took the kids, and changed her number. Friday morning, I handed my wife an envelope. She looked confused and opened it. Inside was a printout of her messages, every one of them, her selfies, the pet names, the lies, the plans. And on top of the pile, a notice of separation, drafted, dated, and ready for filing. She dropped the pages as if they burned her fingers. You were spying on me." I tilted my head. "No," I said. "I was watching you destroy yourself." She begged. Of course she did. It came in stages. First anger, then bargaining. Apologies through tears. Promises of change. She sat on the edge of the bed that night, shoulders curled inward like a child. "It was just a mistake," she whispered. "I didn't think you cared. You're always so distant." I walked past her and pulled the folder from the drawer. "Here's the lease to a new apartment," I said. "You'll find your things packed by the door. I've scheduled a moving service for tomorrow. Don't worry about the rest. I've handled everything." Her mouth fell open. You can't just. I already did. There was no yelling, no rage, only silence and the quiet severing of whatever tether she imagined still existed. I sleep well now. The house is quieter, cleaner. My routines have returned. Even the apple slices taste better. She texted me once last week, "Why are you so calm? Don't you feel anything?" I didn't reply. She mistook silence for emptiness. But silence is the sound of victory echoing in a hollow that once held pain. Vengeance isn't loud. It's patient, precise, and when it's done right, it leaves nothing behind but silence and the scent of closure.